Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Modern Market, where every day we discuss all things to do with the modern market. That is the crypto market, the NFT market, how to make some or a lot of money on the internet. Load up discussion today. We've got Bitcoin back at $115,000. Sounds pretty good. We've got S&P closing at another all-time high. Legendary will take us through some major roundup. We've got Solana outperforming majors by it's up 6% to $237 on the DAT news. Ford Industries closed a $1.65 billion placement. Brad will take us through some of those details, what the narratives are spinning up there. Saw some good media around from some prominent people about the Solana DAT. And finally, official PayPal account tweets Hyperliquid support. That's pretty cool. Remember, there's been a big conversation around Hyperliquid this week around their native USD ticker, USDH, which is being voted on who will be the provider and issuer for that. We've also got the latest on price action on crypto and NFTs as usual, plus a general discussion on where we think attention and capital is flowing. So stay tuned for that. I've got Legendary and Bread with me in the co-host seats today. We're ready to get into it. But just a reminder, friends, before we do, nothing that we say here is financial advice. This market is very, very risky. We do not know anything for sure. So please do proceed with caution and exercise your own judgment. With that out of the way, Legendary, it is Friday. It is the 12th of September. How are you doing? How are you feeling today?
GM, doing pretty well. Got two things on my mind. One of which is that exactly when we're going to close down the show, so in 53 minutes, I need to pre-order my new iPhone and get that thing to me. Slight annoyance with that is that's mini EU rent, and then I'm going to get into something more relevant. New AirPods have these live translation features that everyone on the timeline has been talking about, and not going to come to the EU for regulatory reasons. Not compatible.
They've been memeing about, they have been talking about
What's
it. They've
not
been memeing about it,
compatible?
and I love it.
There is this digital something act, which basically requires if you use some sort of technology that you have to open it up to your competitors. It's not GDPR this time. It's not privacy laws, but it's some sort of tech that they would have to share with competitors, and they just don't want to do that, basically.
I thought it might have been a consensual thing where it's like someone is not allowed to speak in another language without them knowing that you are understanding them when they think that you don't understand them. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like a recording law situation.
Yeah,
Basically,
kind of, where it's
they can't record people without them knowing.
You have to record to translate, yeah.
Because in your mind, if you think about it, in a lot of European cities, there's all kinds of languages being spoken, right? And the assumption is, I guess, sometimes when you are able to speak another language, well, I'm going to speak this language rather than that language because I don't want the people around me to understand what I'm saying. Whereas this, if you sneak a little AirPod in your ear, just eavesdropping on everyone's conversations. I don't know if you even thought of that. Maybe I've just come up with that. That should be a legal issue. I think that should be the legal issue. I like it.
Did you see the meme format from it? I like the meme format.
You say something, then the AirPod, and then the translation, like yada yada yada, and then Hyperliquid is gonna go to $150.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's on the left is whatever, and then the big earpod in the middle with live translation up top, and then it says what they're actually trying to say, or what they're actually meant with the thing. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
actually like it.
Good one, yeah,
it'll be around for a while.
I like it. Ledge, what else are you gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, from a presentation brand design perspective, it's pretty cool if you create like that for the Apple event and people pick it up and make it mimetic content. That's like free exposure. And also, that's my segue, talking about brand design. We have something new to get used to. It is part of a rebrand. We have the new logo. Modern Market's green now.
Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up on screen.
Yeah, I'm not logged in the Figma on that browser where I'm sharing my stuff.
I'll do it on the tweet.
Nice, do it on the tweet then. Yeah, it's probably the faster way.
Yeah,
there's more coming to that. We are not done with. While you keep searching with that, I'll comment a bit through that. We're not done with the transition of all brand assets, but we wanted to get the initial, just the final logo out, the new color scheme and everything. Obviously, this background, which we're streaming on, will follow that color template as well, and many more things to come. Our community in Telegram has been very, very happy to chat about the logo, but B, also like super helpful with things. I think it was Swizzy who told me, yo, Legendary, don't forget to change the community banner on X, which is still in the purple color scheme. So I like the change quite a lot. I like the logo quite a lot because it has this stylized M that you don't see. Basically,
Deconstructed. You turned me onto that word whenever we first looked at it. It's like, okay.
It's a Michelin star M. It's a deconstructed. If you're very sophisticated, you can see it. If you're not sophisticated, you can't see it. I actually could not see it initially, and Legendary and Bread told me, "Oh no, cool, that's a cool one. There's an M." I could only see a Wi-Fi signal at first, but I wasn't sophisticated enough to see it, and I had these two gentlemen inform me that this was actually the best logo out of the variety. I had completely discounted this one, and then they told me, "No, this is cool." I was like, "Okay, cool. Now I see it. I'm happy for it." Okay, so that's that. And as you said, I think there's a whole set of upgrades coming across the product stack. So fine, you change the visuals, doesn't really mean anything really, right? But on some level, we're trying to present it in a better way. And I do think the industry is getting ready to be way more professional, way more sophisticated, whilst still, and this is my point in the tweet, while still embracing like the speculative excitement of investing on the cutting edge of future tech and digital experiences, which I think is what we are absolute experts in at this point. But we want to be able to present to a newer audience as well, who are increasingly interested in the industry. We're getting a lot of inbound from more corporate entities, individuals who are intrigued. They're super intrigued by the industry, and we want to make sure we are, from a brand perspective, well positioned to field those conversations and push them forward. So that's the plan from that perspective. I'm very happy. It's taken a lot of time and effort, and as Legendary said, it's not all the phases is not done yet. We've got a bunch of stuff coming. So when you're actually watching the show screen on YouTube or Twitter, it's going to look like 100x better. Maybe by next week, maybe the week after. Either way, I think by September it's going to be a full reboot. So that's that. Bread, what's your thoughts? How do you like green? I thought you said you were going to be you're going to change the background of the room. It's going to be switching to green. How are things your side otherwise?
Yeah, well, I'm also with the rest of the community beholden to updates throughout the rest of the what we have, right? So I'm looking at a purple background of our show, of our live stream. So I have to make sure I'm synchronized with that. I can't have a green light over here when I'm surrounded by purple out
That's
here.
True. That's true.
So, we wait. I have the setting ready. I kind of did a little sampling. And then it's automated day of. I will say, like, even like it was jarring, like signing on this morning, like kind of on the spaces and stuff. Like I'm so used to clicking on the modern market purple that goes with the purple around the spaces. It does stand out better. I like it. So, yeah, it'll be fun. I like new stuff. This reminds me of like work back in the day where like you would have your desk set up for like a year, 2 years, and all of a sudden one day you're like, fuck it, let's change some shit. And then you like you do everything. Like you change where your monitors are, you just get crazy, right? I love full teardowns and rebuilds. I wouldn't encourage that for like brand, but like that's what this feels like to me. So it's fun. I like just like net new shit.
I never changed desk setup after a year. I just changed companies.
Yeah, well, it was like 2 years. This was
like 1.5 years.
Yeah, this was my employee arc before I did a consultant. And I was like, after you're a consultant, yeah, you're moving like every 6 months to a year and a half. When I was an employee for like 4 or 5 years, that's what I was doing.
I like it. As you say, every now and again, I think that's actually part of the is it a Japanese expression, or it's just a general maybe take on like progress? But like in order to progress forward, there's also like a part of destruction as part of that process. It's like you progress forward, you get to a certain point, you then have to destroy the thing that you've created in some way in order to create the next part to be better in the next thing. And I think destruction is always a part of the process. And if anyone's specifically creative, I know I've felt this as a writer as well. You write something, you create something, and then after a while, for me personally, you just hate it. Like, I don't know if that's a common thing, but you hate it after a bit. And then from that hatred, you like create the next better thing, which you like more. And then over time, I guess you hope that you're producing better and better things over time. So
I have to claim this is not Japanese. Creative destruction is what you're referencing, and this is actually an Austrian guy. Gonna say
Oh, sure, it's Austrian. You're just going to claim.
it's Josef Schumpeter, Schumpeter, the economist who coined that term of creative destruction.
Okay. Interesting. I like it. I didn't know it was a economic term, but we like the reference. Look, let's get into it today to get you up to speed with everything that you need to know. But just before we do, just to note that today we're excited to be sponsored by Yeet, the crypto casino that's done hundreds of millions of volume in the few months. It's been founded by trusted names like Mando, KBM, and pro poker player Ben Lam. Mando came on the show not long ago to talk about everything they're doing, where users of the site, Legendary is famously known as Limbo GCR over there. So it felt like a very natural partnership, a reminder to only gamble for fun and what you're comfortable with. And to help there, we're giving out up to $750 each week randomly to players active under the Modern Market affiliate link, which is in the comments. So do check Yeet out. They have a number of crypto themed games and sportsbook coming soon, and stay tuned for our fifth giveaway. Sorry, this is the fifth giveaway in our second month of the partnership at the end of today's show. So we'll be checking in on people there at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. Right, let's get to the price action to get you up to speed with what is going on today. Just going to refresh because I'm seeing a number I don't like, and I'm hoping that if I refresh the page, the number will come back better. It's not happening. So Bitcoin is actually at 114K now. I'm sure it went to 115. That's just up 1%. ETH is up almost 2% to 4.5K. XRP is up 1% to over $3. Solana is up 6%, outperforming all the other majors to $240, up 16% on the week. Clearly, the coin that is most in demand out of those majors at the moment. BNB is flat at $906. That's gone past 900 again. Hyperliquid is up 4%, back above $56. That's up 22% on the week. And Sui is flat at $3.60, up 7% on the week. Getting into
I now request, listen, my bags have changed. They've shifted slightly. So we need to make sure that we check ENA consistently.
Okay.
So ENA is part of my revenue meta. It's ENA, pump, it's hype, it's okay. ENA's looking good, man. Okay, this can be part of daily. Not great.
ENA at 76 cents. That's just down a touch today, I think.
It was up over the week, but it's basically down over the month.
Down over the month.
Zooming out is a bit better though.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the hype stuff. That's all like them withdrawing from the hype bid and then still saying like, doesn't matter, we're going to build it anyways, and we're going to crush. Which, respect the game, right? But yeah, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to that podcast from Guy. I'm gonna try to get him on the show. He's very very smart.
We need him on the show as soon as we no longer have a purple background because our branding is now green. We're gonna get him on the show. He can't. Some guests we need to fix the background. Then we're gonna get the top guests in. On the meme coin side and a little bit on the revenue side too, Doge is up 4% to 26 cents. Doge is up 20% on the week, guys. That's good.
It's crazy.
That's good for your meme coin bags. I think people have very much moved on from Doge. It's like, okay, it's an older coin, but Doge doing well is good for the rest of the.
I'm hearing like the final much awaited meme coin season may be here. So like. And this is from Meme Coiner, so like there's obviously incentive for that to happen for them. That's where their bags are positioned. But these people, like the people I'm talking, like K Money, you know, like a few of the people that have been deep in the meme coin trenches and been successful for a while now, and not just like deep trench shit, but like I would say like sophisticated meme coins.
Yes.
And I feel like has a decent pulse on a lot of this stuff. He's been a very good trader. He thinks we're coming back. Or we like just meme coins broadly are like we're starting to hit that motion.
Yes. I think that's what Legendary said, wanted to deploy into some more riskier things at the moment as well. I don't mind that take at all.
Not sophisticated things though. Not the sophisticated ones. I'm in the sub 10 mil territory.
Yeah, but we're also in the revenue stuff. I think that's the nice thing about this period now. Maybe the blow off in November, December last year was all meme related, and AI agents, and a lot of that was like hyper speculative. Now you can kind of take a pick. You can go hyper speculative if you want, and you can back these like incredible crypto native businesses that just keep going up. So,
by the way,
You know,
talking
it's
about investing in everything pump, like gold is up, as we said it earlier. I'm going to say it on the show. And I saw this post by Simon from Moonrock Capital, because we were talking robotics on the show. And let me get the post up real quick. He said that he had a call today. There we go. Let me read it out. Just had a call today with one of the leading humanoid robotics companies about an investment. Turns out the minimum ticket size would be bigger than Moonrock's. This is their venture capital firm, entire assets under management. We might be tier 4 fund plebs, but also remind of how small we still are as an industry and how much more room there is to grow. This is pretty crazy because I reflected on that a bit more. If you're like in a space where you can basically angel into businesses and seed, pre-seed rounds, sometimes even with just a couple grand, sometimes 10K. Then the bigger rounds here are like, oh, you have to put in 50K, you have to put in 75K. And then you have like fee structures outside of this space that are also pretty crazy. And this came via SERP, Ethos founder. We had him on the show, who said that he had a deal on his table. And I just wanted to point out the fee structure of that because it's so insane. So he said, across the Serpent desk this morning, invest in Anthropic, which is the company behind Claude, which is GPT's competitor, at 220 bill valuation, minimum 75K. And then just to break down the fees, don't know if you guys have seen this, 1.5% annual fee, first 3 years upfront, 3.5% setup fee, 2% service fee, 4.5% broker commission. So that already adds up to 15, 16-ish percent, and then 18% take as an additional fee on the profit. Like, this is insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was actually, as you were going through that, I was thinking like, I wonder if this is hoping that CT blows up or gets a little bigger. I wonder if there are now going to be more traditional or like just outside of crypto businesses trying to get in the crypto space, that because like I would say our stuff is not like purely degenerate. And then B-Check, you had kind of alluded to like trying to be a little bit more professional on this stuff. You know, we try to cover a little bit of macro. We try to cover some high level, like deeper analysis stuff on like within the industry. I wonder if some of these outside of crypto trying to come into crypto businesses might be interested in letting like people like us angel, given like the our size and attention inside of the industry, inside of CT, and like, but it's like we don't have contacts with those people, so like we need to try to figure out like what the best way to have those conversations are, because I bet they would.
It's actually easier than I thought, like investing outside.
Yeah, didn't you do that? But I remember like a year ago, you just like, I just sent a message to these people and they let me in, right? Did you send an email or some shit to some business and got a check?
Emailed founders and I was like, yo, I like the product. These are my thoughts on that.
Where'd you find the founders though?
I messaged the whatever info general address that they had, give feedback on the product, basically say, can you forward this to CEO? Like the product, I've been investing in Web3 startups was my choice of words, and would be interesting to see if you guys are raising funds. Did that 3 times now, and every time I was able to put in a check. Actually was surprisingly easy to do that. Maybe I was lucky with one company, I was lucky with the timing because they were actually raising. And with the other ones, I had to wait because they didn't raise at that point in time, but they did come back to me later on and we figured something out.
Good learning. Nice. Just send the email, guys. Take the action.
I mean, we had the same learning, B-Check, in Web3 as well, right? Like initially, we struggled with deal flow because people didn't know we're investing. And we had people DMing us when we spoke about investment. Oh, I didn't know you guys put money into companies as well. And just have to talk about those things and be publicly known about for that, which we are in Web3, but not in the outside world. But even in the outside world, it's just like talk to people, ask these companies, and it will work out.
Not always. It's one of those things which is like, if they don't know, then you're not going to get it. If people don't know what you do, then of course you're not going to get more opportunities in the thing that you do. So you just need to make it known.
And it's an attractive question to ask at the end of the day. It's like, do you want money?
Yeah, it's a good, it's a happy one for people to receive for sure.
Well, in my mind, it's like, because it's limited, right? It's like I talk to a lot of teams. Like, hell, if you guys want some more angels, anyone in the crowd too, like send me some shit because I can get you in some angels in the Mega Mafia ecosystem or accelerator, right? But like I know they have finite amounts that they can allocate. They can bend on it a little bit, but like they're like, look, we're trying to get 200 grand from X amount of people. Like once that's up, like we can't stretch it. So I had assumed that would be easy to get from the outside, but I guess they also want to make sure it's diversified, right? So they would like to have someone within the industry if they're trying to pivot into it or have whatever, or even if they're not, maybe it's just like they like diversity. So
Got to shoot your shot. Got to shoot your shot at all times. Right, let's get the rest of the roundup done so people know what is going on. As I said, Doge is up on the meme coin side 4%, which is, I guess, bullish for the rest. And Pengu's followed up 9%. Pump, the other big revenue coin, back to 6 bill. FDV up 7% on the day. We were talking about it, I think, yesterday or the day before. It's just like, I guess, a screaming buy. Because it's just, you know, assuming that they just continue to do the buybacks in the way that they're doing them, and the activity stays the same, which I don't think are huge leaps as assumptions to make. You know, screaming buy. 28% up on the week. Bonk is up 9% as well, though, on the day. So that is, you know, the key competitor. Got to be aware of that. SPX is flat. WIF is up 1%. Fartcoin's up a couple of percent, back to almost 90 cents. Rect is up 10% on the new. There's a new drink flavor out, Moon Crush. I tasted it. I had a drink of it yesterday. It was pretty delicious. Getting into the roundup side. Pump, I said, up 6%. Pengu's up 9%. Rex up 10%. Ledgers, anything we need to know on the NFT side that is catching our attention?
Not really. You had this one punk sale in the snapshot with the clown green hair, which went for 50 ETH. Taking a look at the major side, there's nothing really to report on. The only thing, Pudgy Penguins up 2%, 10.5 ETH for up 6% over the week. The rest is a bit flat or down a bit. Fair
enough. Getting into the rest of the roundup, we've got BlackRock exploring tokenizing ETFs, according to Reuters. You've got World Libertyfi proposing 100% of the World Libertyfi liquidity fees to market buy World Libertyfi tokens and to permanently burn them. You've got Sharps Technology, Solana DAT, announcing partnership with Pudgy Penguins to bring exposure and connectivity to the Solana DAT space. That's a pretty cool image of this penguin all dressed up in a suit. Native markets have more than 70% of the validator votes now for the stablecoin USDH ticker on Hyperliquid. So it does look like they will receive that position. And in other news, finally, Unit. Whilst all of this other stuff's been going on Hyperliquid, Unit completes the Plasma XPL integration on testnet, ready for a day one listing on Hyperliquid. Pudgy Party game by Mythic Games hits 500,000 downloads, which is pretty significant. And finally, Moonbirds announced mystery physical collective mint for 24 hours in partnership with collector Crypt. That is the roundup, guys. With the price action, before we get into the main headlines today, boys, what is catching our attention from the roundup or otherwise? Coming to Bread first.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been a little distracted. You gave me a quote for my section. We'll cover it in the Solana stuff. This guy is trying to call out like the total TPS of the global capital markets. This MFR is dumb. This guy from Ford. These numbers this is shilly shit. So I've been creating a dunk post for the last 10 minutes. We'll talk about it.
So we're gonna get to that. You're gonna get to dunk on. You're gonna get to do your dunk post
before
in
that
verbal form.
Anything
Anything else catching your attention there, Brad?
After on Wednesday we were talking about like portfolio and like trying to adjust, and I'm still like, as we see Solana pumping, I'm a little mad that I didn't rotate out of my NFTs. You and I talked about that. I need to look at it, and I need to like.
I'm gonna put time in your calendar. We're gonna do it.
I know. Well, I took the first step. So I purchased Lighthouse One, which is of all of the portfolio managers that I have used, that one is my favorite. And in doing that and going through my wallets, I found my old Boop wallet. I had like 15 grand sitting in Radium on that one.
Oh.
So I just like hot swapped that over to Pump a couple days ago. But like, so now that's just to say that now I have like a full portfolio overview. I can see my idle capital. I can like actually do this stuff. So I'm gonna start doing my assessment, and I want to like, yeah, I want to shuffle some stuff around. So like to say like what I'm looking at, I'm still in this revenue meta stuff. I think we called it pretty well on the Wednesday show of like the discrepancy between pump and hype. I saw a lot of people like start drumming that up even harder after we had mentioned that, and I put out a little tweet about it. So yeah, I'm just like, I've even like, even on the TradFi side, like I'm actually very happy about these DATs and the ETFs, because I have a lot of money locked up in an IRA that I cannot bring on chain. Like it's like a lot.
Yeah.
So I have to deploy that to stocks. So one, I don't know if you guys saw like the Hood announcements, like they're doing like a Hood social. I think we talked about that a little bit on Wednesday, maybe. I think I alluded to it. So they're doing that. And that Hype D bag that I talked about, the Hyperliquid DAT, that I was like, dude, I got undercut by this thing. What are these guys doing? Whatever. And I questioned at one point, like, do I deploy into this thing? Because I feel like it's underneath MNAV, which it was. It was at like 50%. Thing has spiked hard the last like 4 days. It's basically back to where it was. So
Nice.
And I question if I should deploy into it, if I was crazy or if it was crazy and I would do research. I didn't get the chance to do the research, but it's now back to where it was. MNAV's back to about 1, which means I'm an idiot and I had a chance to buy 50% discounted.
50%. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's not great.
One question here, Brad, because you mentioned the stock side of things, which we have kind of suggested there's going to be a huge merge here, right, between stocks and crypto, and everything's going to be investable and everything's going to be on chain, and all of these things are going to be better options for us or easily accessible. I think you mentioned Robinhood, and we've also spoken about Coinbase a lot on the show. I believe if it wasn't you, it was someone else.
It was me. I did the pivot.
Yeah, talk me through, because this is something I've considering. I was holding Coinbase, but then on a trade I went into SBET instead. I'm not a big stocks guy in general, but like talk us through your thinking for Robinhood over Coinbase and just like the exchange trading game on the stock side.
We meant to cover it on the show whenever we were talking about Hood. Was it Hood or was it Circle? Oh no, it was the Hype D shit. It was on the Hype D. We were meant to like bleed into it because I did a Hood coin swap on it. So with the Hype D stablecoin talk, right? Circle has about 7% of its total supply on Hyperliquid, right? It's locked up and collecting interest. So whenever you see this, and you see stuff like the Mega ETH announcement, right? We're announcing our own stablecoin. We don't plan to integrate USDC, or we're going to actively try to like eat into this. And now Mert on Solana is like, we should enshrine a stablecoin, basically saying they should do what we just announced we're doing, right? So now, because it has been so lucrative for these stablecoin providers, everyone is looking at this and going, all right, we're going to eat it. We're going to internalize this shit, right? So
yeah,
because Tether and Circle were never bringing that stuff in. So anyways, broadly, just understand that the market itself is trying to go after the revenue directly. Hyperliquid being the key example against Circle. And we're heading into a inflationary environment, which means that like T-bill return is getting compressed, which is basically 100% of what Circle is earning on that. So Circle is losing arguably its largest provider in Hyperliquid growth vertical. It is one-dimensional in how it earns its earns on the capital that it possesses, right? The actual thing is going down. So like I just saw the broad trends of stablecoins as being an attack vector. Circle itself is being attacked and not innovating, and it's kind of bloated and like all this shit. It's losing its regulatory arbitrage against Tether in America because the head of whatever Bo Hines is joining Tether. So it's like it's getting attacked from literally every angle. Coinbase earns 50% of Circle's revenue, and it's like one of its most promising things. People are like, you'll buy Coinbase as an index against stablecoins. It's like got that. Market hasn't totally woken up to it, but like that's one of its bull cases. And then you have like all the other things that are going on with Coinbase. It's kind of just like floundering. Is that like, I don't know. It's got some institutional ties, but like whatever. And then you have Hood. Hood's launching an L2. It's going after perps. It's integrating prediction markets. I am a big believer in, like, I've recently just switched basically all of my investments over to Robinhood because they're offering some like 2% bonus, right? So like I can get 2% bonus against my entire IRA, right? As long as I keep it in there for a year or whatever it was. It's like, great, I'll take that. A couple, like, tens of thousands of dollars. So I did all that stuff. And as someone who has done this in the past, right, I was a consultant. So I went from business to business to business, and I had to constantly change 401ks, IRAs, whatever, from the local provider to a one that I could manage. And it was a pain in the dick, right? You're just, some of them you have to even send fucking letters to. It's so archaic and old and busted, right? So whether it's Vanguard or Schwab or whatever, they all suck, right? And they're like generally just not great UI UX because they're a little older, super financial.
Sure.
So if we believe Robinhood is capturing the youths of the world, if we believe Robinhood is the better UI UX, which is continuing to be the thing that is like what determines where a lot of these people go, and the one-click swap from all of my IRA over to Robinhood, 5 seconds to get it done. Amazing. Options, 401ks, everything. And if we think old people are dying, which I firmly believe old people are dying, that money is going to go to young people. Young people are then going to one-click swap to merge all their shit into one platform, which they're already established on Robinhood. Robinhood will continue to just black hole a lot of this stuff as people get old and die, and they eat up the younger customer base, especially as they like are on the vanguard of a lot of these like first things. So that was for me. I was probably like 70-30 ish coin, and like my portfolio is like largely this shit. It's all Web3 companies, and it's a big one, but it's like Coinbase options, Robinhood. Now it's exposure to Hype and that's about it. I'm gonna get exposure to ENA through stablecoin X whenever that goes public. But that's basically all of it. I'm very concentrated in this industry. But I'm changing the ratio now. Like that's my thesis. I think Coinbase is like not like, even if they're on the institutional side, I think Robinhood growth is going to be the one to take place. So like I want to be there. So I changed the ratio.
I like it. Interesting insight. And yeah, I think I'll comment on one thing in more detail, but shout out to Ebrink in the comments saying, I think Son is the more interesting hype dat. It's going to be called Hyperliquid Strategies. I believe this is the one. Maybe they can confirm, or Brett.
It's the larger one for sure.
It's the one that has the former CEO of Barclays as its CEO, Bob Diamond.
Yeah, I've seen tweets about him. I didn't know that was his.
People are doing the rounds. They're doing like the PR rounds at the moment. So, there's going to be, I guess, more than one Hyperliquid one, right? This Hyperliquid is it clearly got the attention of people. So maybe there'll be some other options there. And to your point about Coinbase, I think one of the biggest bull cases was that it definitely felt like they had some kind of moat. I think people spoke about them as if, they're going to be the ones that's the custodians for all of these ETFs. And then I think other people did that too. And in general, I very much like the idea what you just described for Hood. I'm not exposed to either at the moment, but if I had to pick, I would probably make the same decision that you just made as well. Before we get into the main headlines, Ledge, do you have a take on Robinhood versus Coinbase? Or, since we're talking stocks, are you positioned anywhere in any interesting direction there? And then anything else catching your attention before we hit the headlines?
Yeah, I'm still very much in the stock market game. I still have my SBIT bag. I'm like, now that they're starting the share buyback program, which we talked about on the show, and the stock is down like $16, like might as well hold and see that play out. But also the new, I want to say TGEs, the new listings, the new IPOs, like Gemini, which will come, is something I definitely want to have a close eye on. And by having a close eye on, that means trying to trade it on day one as fast as I can.
That's a good question though. So like for people listening in, and frankly, even myself, like what are you supposed to do? Like obviously the people who got in at the IPO, the initial price offering is the best because it's going to come out higher. They're going to win. Is there more value to be had? Do you see these things continuing to pump once they launch, or how are you playing it?
Just to give you the details on that, because they came out like 1 hour ago or so, some of them did. So they are planning $28 as the IPO price, and they wanted to raise 425 mil for the IPO. That was 20x oversubscribed. So there's definitely demand. above that price level if 8 billion of capital, or more than 8.5 bill wanted to come in instead of the 425 mil. The question then really becomes how fast your brokerage account can execute on that. I have now a new one which I have more hopes in, because the old one, remember, it pissed me off a circle. It took me like whole 16 hours to get in or so. So I'm more optimistic now to make that trade faster.
Okay.
But to Brett's point, I like the Robinhood hypothesis, and also, and we're gonna get to this when I'm gonna do my segment. Stock market tech values looking pretty interesting. You had Oracle doing this big jump, which basically meant that Larry Ellison, the founder, whose island I visited this summer, he bought the whole island of Lanai, which I visited for 300 million. This is like a person with 1 million net worth, by the way, would spend 1K on something nice. Like, these are the dimensions. He gained 90 something billion, obviously like paper, in book value in one day.
It's all book value to the top guys though, but that put him at number one, right?
Flipped Elon for a bit, then stock corrected down a bit. Elon is obviously, that's book value, so like liquid cash that they have. But yeah, stock market has a lot of opportunities right now, and definitely something I want to play a bit more as well.
Brett, did you want to come back there? No?
Yeah, it made me think, like, as I was going through my stuff, it reminded me that NVIDIA, I remember mentioning that on the call, I don't know, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, whereas like NVIDIA, even at like a whatever, $3 trillion, whatever the hell it is, I don't know the actual market cap of it, was still growing 50% year over year. Like, it's insane. And like, I may actually just do this on the call today. I just want to sell some shit, go buy some NVIDIA, just like make sure it's on my book so that it's a reminder for myself, even if it's like $1,000. I want to make sure I see it. So I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, the reason why I'm smiling / laughing before we get into the main stuff now is like, I just think it's funny now that the numbers are getting so big that honestly it's just like, I don't know, how much are they worth again? Is it 2 billion? Is it 2 trillion? I don't even know. No one knows anymore.
Doesn't matter.
Like, the numbers just are so have inflated over time to such a crazy degree. Like, how much are we paying this AI dev from OpenAI? Is it 5 mil? Is it 50 mil? Is it 500 mil? Like, does anyone even know how much we're paying the new people we're trying to steal from OpenAI? Like, it's, I wouldn't say it's like, I don't think it's necessarily like insane behavior. I just think it's an interesting observation that as we try to, we're on top of all of the numbers in general, right? We have to try to be on a daily show, and the numbers are just skyrocketing across the board, which is more probably just a commentary on just the crazy debasement of the currency, where we're just talking on numbers that would never have even like considered before. So,
really quick comments on that. The person which you mentioned on the show, always forget his name, who left OpenAI, published this paper while we're going to have AGI in 2027. One of the points he made on there is basically all these big companies, when it comes to like the size of computing clusters for AI models, they just add a zero every 6 months to the investment size. So it started at 5 bill, and it was 50 bill, then it was 500 bill. And the second comment is to Elon Musk's. Did you see the bonus program for the next
pay package? Yeah, 1 trillion.
1 trillion if he fulfills all KPIs over the next year for Tesla. Yeah, 1 trillion. Right. It's a nice package.
I think he has to like 8x. I mean, it might be more than 8x to be fair, but it's something very. He has to like 8x the market cap of Tesla, and if he does, then he gets all of that in stock. But again, I could be making up the numbers because we don't keep track of numbers anymore. Is it 8x?
Yeah.
Is it 18x?
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's whatever. Yeah.
Doesn't
He
matter.
has to grow the company significantly, but it's still an active incentive to try to do that.
Indeed.
We should start having these KPIs in the industry.
So
pump my coin to 8x, and then like, yeah, you get some more coins.
You'll get 1 trillion.
Let's. I like this sort of conversation increasingly. So we'll try and keep tabs on it as we go through the shows over the next few weeks as well, because I think it's part of the broader conversation that we're always a part of. But let's get to the headlines for today. We've got just around 15 minutes, but probably less because we've got to do our Yeet giveaway. Remember, we're doing up to $750 to people on our Yeet board who have been putting some volume through our favorite crypto casino. So we'll be doing that towards the end of the show as well, which means we've got to get through these headlines. Ledge, we're starting off with just a bit of a summary. Bitcoin at 115, S&P closing at another all-time high. Any numbers here we should be taking account of? Any interesting thoughts you're having? What do we need to know?
Yeah, continuing the stock conversation, as you said, S&P is up almost another percent on the day, trading at 6,570 points. Yesterday I said gold was down 0.5%. Today gold is up almost 0.5% again. So that recovered as well. Then the thing I wanted to check in with, because we had the inflation data yesterday coming out after the show that came out exactly as expected, which had in, let me do it like this, maybe like this, yeah, which had an interesting effect on the Fed decision in September, but on poly market, where basically for a brief period, the odds that we see a 50 bips decrease shot up to 20%, and 25 bips decrease was at like 77%. That has now corrected down again with now the majority, almost 90% of the market, believing it's quote unquote only going to be a 25 bips rate cut. Also, the only other thing I really want to point out on that is that this market has now crossed $100 million in volume. It's at $107 million yesterday when I had this chart up, and I posted about it. Remember that for that reason, it was at 98M. So this is insane that we are betting $110 million on a rate cut next week. And then just to close the point on the stocks, I said it before that the tech stocks, the tech values are doing quite well. We see Tesla is up 6%, Apple is up 1.5%. Also, finance as a whole sector with JP Morgan and credit services and the Bank of America, all of these stocks are up 1 to 2% as well. So it is looking pretty green across that entire board as well.
Okay. Thanks for the update. Any takeaways here, Ledge?
Is mainly to just spend more time on the stock side of things as well. I'm still of that like mind that I'm currently investing in literally everything and anything, because we see this everything pump from gold, stocks, memes, majors. Did a few angel rounds as well, and then I think at some point, rather sooner than later, I need to establish a plan for myself when I'm gonna take profits. Where do I start first? Like where do I have most conviction in, and where do I have the least? Like currently my mind is basically strongest conviction is in BTC and gold, and that would be the last thing I would want to sell. But if you ask me today what's the first thing I would sell in my portfolio if I want to take profits, I am not 100% sure about that. I have a couple candidates in there, but I need to like establish a stronger plan on that.
That's the thing. When your bags are so damn good, it's hard to find. You need to find some worse ones that are like, right,
Yeah.
I'm purely trading these. When you're buying ththings like Hyperliquid, this is the struggle. Like when you're buying something that you're so fundamentally convicted in, it's like, damn, I need to take profit on Hyperliquid. Why? I really don't want to. I forced myself a little bit, as I said, over the last couple of weeks, taking very small percentages off, still holding the vast majority. But man, I wish I was holding some worse stuff so that I felt easier to sell some of the stuff sometimes. Brad, let's get into the second headline here, because we want to keep it moving, and it is pretty big news for Solana, the DAT ecosystem. I think it would be helpful here for you to outline some of the marketing push from the Solana DAT team, this one in particular that's raised 1.65 billion, because it'd be helpful for people to know what it is, just and then have your commentary on it.
Yeah, let's set the context first, which
Yes,
is like
please.
Solana. Like everyone understands stats. I think at this point we've been talking about them for a month and a half, right? It's a way for TradFi to access underlying cryptocurrencies. Cool. That is the big reason why Tom Lee and Bitcoin have been pumping. Tom Lee has been pumping ETH and Saylor on Solana or on Bitcoin. It's Solana's turn, right? But the FUD with Solana's has been that all of the tokens that people are buying is locked Solana. Like it's not actually net new buying pressure. We had evaluated it a few times on the call over the last few weeks. So just like that's one angle that a lot of these Solana DATs have to fight, is that, oh, we will generate buying pressure for the Solana token. Like we want to acquire more of it.
And
right?
to be fair, I think there's mostly addressed, right? Are you going to go into that?
Yeah, correct. And I'm just going to say like that's the reason why there is a marketing push for that, for this specific one we're going to call out today. So the headline itself is Solana outperforms majors with 6% to 237 on a bullish DAT news. Forward Industries closes a $1.65 billion placement. So Forward, we know, first I just want to call it a horrible ticker. Forward as a ticker for forward is dumb. Again, I'm offering up my consulting services for anyone who wants to name a ticker over the next 6 to 12 months. If you're PayPal or you're these guys who have billions of dollars in the name, you're dumb. He's dumb on two verticals. We'll call that out later. So they announced their $1.65 billion pipe in cash and stable coins led by Galaxy Jump and Multicoin Cap. And Multicoin, also led by Kyle Samani, if you are familiar, he mentioned that he put 25 million of his own cash into this to like acquire more. Some of it will be acquiring Solana at a discount. They had referenced that, hey, they have access within the Solana ecosystem, which means they can get Solana tokens not even off the market, but they can gather them directly from people that they know who have locked tokens and basically just like improve the MNAV of their specific stock, their Solana per stock. Just leveraging that, which is good. Like that's what you want. One thing that they called out as part of their marketing scheme was like just being bullish Solana, right? Solana's high capacity makes it so that they can handle the onboarding of the world as like blockchain comes online. This is the thing that I was alluding to earlier, saying like what this guy is saying is dumb. I put the tweet out, so it's hilariously wrong. So his current projections, he just said, current global capital market daily transactions, equities are between 100 and 150 million, bonds 8 to 10 million, MBS, I'm not even sure what that is, 1 million trades per day, derivatives 60 to 100 million contracts per day, and FX 250 to 500 million. So totaling between 400 and 700 million, with peaks near 1 billion. And if you run the math on that, like all the numbers, he touted very proudly, oh my God, Solana can handle the world's global financial load today. Like this is what can happen. And that's just, it's not true. It literally is just not true because, and like you can use this as an example. If you look at Hyperliquid has 60% of on-chain perps volume. That 60% of on-chain perp volume represents 5% of off-chain perp volumes. So that's SEX is doing the same thing. That excludes everything that he just said and anything else financial in the world that he did not include, plus like everything else that happens on chain. So all the TPS that's generated across everything else, which I would include now as global financial markets, all of that is running at our, so again, just Hyperliquid's little bubble, the 60% of on-chain, which is 5%, which is 0%, which is 0%, is like 11,000 TPS daily consistently, which is double what he just said. So if you actually think like this tiny little bubble of what we have is generating 11,000 TPS, and that he's just like encapsulating everything else that takes place in the entire world is only 6,000 TPS, that's just nonsensical to me. It makes no sense. So I was just saying like relatively, like we just need so much more scale if we think a singular blockchain is going to do that. So
Sure.
You're going to see these numbers. They said 65,000 TPS. Solana is not doing 65,000 TPS. It can't do it consistently under load. That you've seen marketing stuff around 100,000 TPS. That was also kind of a marketing thing because that's not like legit transactions with a mixed order of like complexity of transactions. So like it's good to note Solana is probably the best position right now to handle that stuff because it's the only blockchain that has been hit at scale when you have like the Trump launch, like the Trump meme coin stuff. It's the only one that has had the full infrastructure into it. But this is wrong. He's wrong. Plain and simple.
Right. So I think, yes, from the technical perspective, there might be some shortcomings. It reminds me a little bit of when, people just throw things out as part of the marketing thing, right? It's like when Tom Lee's coming out and saying, all right, ETH is going to go to $60,000. It's the same.
Yes.
It's kind of in this same thing. The ballpark idea and some of the idea around it is correct. Maybe if you dig into the specific numbers, it might have some shortcomings. But in terms of the numbers side, so we spoke about the raise itself. And one of the big concerns prior, I think, was the the balance of this being locked tokens versus non legendary. I believe this is far more cash has been raised here than what was initially thought, which is obviously very, very positive for Solana. I think the price has reacted accordingly. What's your view, maybe taking a more positive outlook? There's some big heavy hitters here, and I think Solana is definitely searching for the DAT team to push them forward, right? Like Sailor's got Bitcoin's got Sailor, ETH has Tom Lee. Is this the entity for Solana, do you think?
It might be the entity, but because we've seen ETH and BTC being a bit ahead on the journey and seeing the MNEF multiples compress over time, I don't think that this is a narrative that will carry in the long run. ETH had the same realization, right? We did pump to all-time high, and yes, I said it on the show yesterday that we've seen like outflow 6 days in a row, but then the data from yesterday came in today, and I think that was like, again, 700 mil or so in inflows, so that basically flipped around pretty quickly. But the narrative has to be more than just DATs are buying this asset. It works for a bit, it hypes up the price. We've seen that with Solana, but I feel like if we go into this direction, which Brett has basically just shared, of becoming the infrastructure that runs the world's finance on, like that's kind of what ETH is now positioned as narrative wise, and why institutions are buying in there. So for me to see this like long-term bull case, I still think Solana needs to find its like narrative. It doesn't really have one that is sellable to the TradFi world yet.
I don't know.
What's
I
going
think
to be
I'll take the other
sellable?
side here. I think they've made a pretty decent attempt at making the argument, and I agree that you can kind of look at some of the maybe technical aspects and say a few question marks around some of them. But I think they were very clear. Like I think Novogratz, I saw this. This might have been what you were referencing, Brad. Like I can't remember the number. Maybe the numbers don't matter anymore, do they? But Samani and Novogratz, it felt like they had coordinated the number, which they were saying like we can do this many numbers of transactions, and this idea that it's already able to house finance, to take a term from Hyperliquid, is the thing that they want to push. So whether it's literally possible or not, I don't know. But in terms of the story that they're going to tell, I think I think it sounds good. I think it sounds good.
The story that ETH is telling as well. Like
yes,
if you look
I agree.
at DeFi
I agree.
on Solana,
Yeah.
it's completely irrelevant compared to the money that is in DeFi on ETH. So I don't think that they can win on this side of the narrative.
Well, so I know ETH was criticized pretty heavily as being the barbell, the middle of the barbell, right? Oh, you have Bitcoin store of value, hard money, whatever, and you have Solana performance. It's the thing that can handle the load. It's whatever, and Ethereum sits in the middle. It can't do anything. Now it has shifted, right? Now Solana's in the middle. Solana's like, oh, it's decentralized finance. Well, Hyperliquid's doing crazy volume, and it's got like got a lot of finance.
More interest, yeah.
Ethereum is the decentralization thing. So Solana is trying to be this blend of the two, where it's like, oh, we are still a neutral platform, but also can house finance. Whereas Ethereum's like, well, bro, like we're not going to do like the world of finance because we're not fast enough, but we are truly decentralized. That's the thing. That's why everyone has stored their value on us. That's why this is the thing that like can be trusted as a truly neutral entity. And Hyperliquid's like, well, fuck that. We're just more performant, right? They're generating 10 times the TPS right now in Hypercore. And the utilization is obviously there. They can do cancel prioritization, which is something Solana cannot do today.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Okay, good debate. I think let's leave it there. I think it's a big headline for them. Solana's performing outstandingly on the back of the news, and so we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it as always. Everyone's going to need to have a DAT now. That seems to be like a standard thing. So whether we think one narrative is better than the other, like if you're a serious player now, you're going to need one, and you're going to need the best backers possible. So I think from that perspective, purely, it's good to have some good people in your corner. Look, final headline, because we want to get to our up to $750 giveaway with our partners Yeet today. I just wanted to bring up that this was pretty crazy to see. Like PayPal, as our final headline today, tweeted support for Hyperliquid yesterday from their main account, which has 1.1 million followers. They said, we're all in. Let's expand the Hyperliquid community together across our broad network of 400 million plus PayPal and Venmo accounts. This was quote tweeting the original tweet, which was referencing Paxos's application to work with Hyperliquid on the USDH stablecoin, where they had said Hyperliquid deserves a stablecoin partner with nativity, alignment, scale, compliance, and global distribution. Paxos, obviously very, very prominent and experienced in this industry, used to do the Binance stablecoin, had worked with PayPal on the PayPal stablecoin. So I thought that was interesting to see. One thing that I think is as an opportunity for people to keep in mind as we run through this towards the end of the show is this point from DeFi Ignis, where fine, PayPal may still be tweeting in that direction, but native markets who look like they are very likely to succeed have two components to their reward or what they're going to do with the money that they're going to earn from the yield. They said 50% of yield goes to hype buybacks and 50% goes to ecosystem growth. So this is DeFi Ignis, who's a pretty prominent writer on Twitter, saying that second half is basically a new Hyperliquid airdrop farm. Who decides the growth rules? Drop the token. This farm could be the catalyst for USDH adoption. Migrate from USDC or USDT into USDH, and you'll likely earn points. It also pushes Hyper EVM DeFi, since USDH will count for the airdrop. It feels like a vampire attack on USDC and USDT, just like Sushi versus Uniswap was back in the day. That is intriguing to me. Remember, the majority of teams were saying 95% of the yield, almost all of the yield, just go pure straight back to hype, buyback hype at all costs, because I think that's what they think the majority of the hype community want, to push the token higher and higher. But it's interesting that this one is actually a split, and that there could be a potential airdrop as part of it, which would be a fantastic one, I think, if that is how it plays out. And you got to allocate with some imagination here, right? And I think Ignis is a good thinker and writer, and I'm very open to that idea. So I'm just bringing that across people's attention, but we'll monitor that. Look, that was the final headline of the day. So let's get to our giveaway. It's time for today's Yeet giveaway. The way it works is we will pick one person from our Yeeter board, which is all of the people who have been putting through some volume over the last 7 days in the crypto casino. We have $250 in cash to a Yeet account, which we'll send after the show, and $250 in free spins, which we will do now. But first, we're going to pick our winner. Then we'll do our free spins. Legendary, we're doing it slightly different today. We did tell people we're going to keep the parameters changing week to week slightly. So how's it going to work today?
Yes, absolutely. So the thing that is different, it's actually two things. A, we have the wheel of names with the new logo, with the green color.
Looks pretty
B,
cool.
The raffle mechanics. Last week we did, for every 10K volume, we got an extra ticket. This week we picked the top 3 on the Yeeter board, which are Funky, Atari God, and Phonics, and we just tripled up their raffle ticket, so they got 3 each, whereas the rest of the participants, the rest of the people on the Yeeter board have 1 entry each.
There we go. Perfect explanation. So we have $250 to the winner, and then $50, 5 limbo spins at a 2x multiple, right?
Yes, this is what we're going to do. But first, we have to spin the wheel.
Let's do it. Who's the winner?
Let's spin and see who is winning this week.
I like the green. I like the green.
I'm going to say, you already nailed it.
Who we got?
Oh, it is Atari God. There we go.
Atari God. There
Deserved.
we go. Famous
Well deserved.
firefighter in Miami. Welcome. Congratulations for the win. Let's see how much he's going to get, though. Let's see how much he's going to get, Legendary. So just talk us through Limbo and your love for it as you do this spin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has $250 in his pockets already. On Limbo, what we're going to do is, I think I have the wager amount that's from my account still at $100. We're going to do $50 spins 5 times. The multiplier is 2x, so he basically has a chance to win up to an additional $500 if all of those 5 basically coin flips would hit.
I think so last time Legendary, I believe you spun poorly for the
I
winner.
did. I only hit 2 out of 5 for Funky. I did.
God damn it. Come on. So what's what do you think this time, Brad? How many wins are we seeing?
I'm saying 5. No. Do I inverse myself? Optimist.
You said it
5.
already.
We're going
You're going 5.
5. He's getting my energy. I'm not going to jinx him. This is.
I think Legendary is going to be better. He's going to be better today. He's going to secure 3.
Alrighty, let's see. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to jinx it, so I'm just going to do it and start with
Be better, Legendary.
spin. That is a win.
That is a win.
7. So that is the first out of 5. Let's see if I can do this again. There we go. That's the second one.
2 out of 2.
Way better than what I did last week.
That
was
2
so
out of
close.
3. Not bad. Be better.
Yeah. Okay.
2 out of 4. Be better, Ledge.
One. There we go. That's 3 out of 5. That is
3 out
better.
of 5.
It's a 50% better performance than I had last week on that.
There we go.
What is the psychological thing going on here? Because like obviously like 2x, like the way it's displayed on the screen makes you think like, bro, I'm gonna win 90% of the time. Like, there's some psychological shit going on there. So is it like is it weighted? Obviously, right? Like what's the?
It's just a coin flip, basically, right?
It's a coin flip, but you have a 99% RTP, so 99% return to player. So you don't have a 50% chance to hit a 2x. You have a 49.5% chance to hit it. The psychological thing, Fred, if you see in the chat, like it says Legendary, that's me, hit a 449x when I was playing earlier today. And the number that showed up was like more than 1000x. And the max you can bet on Limbo is $20 bets, 1000x multi. So the max payout in this game is 20K right now. And the thing is, if you play like a 450x multi or so, and you see that, you know, the number that showed up would have been a 1000x, you're like, oh, I made $8,000. But at the same time, you're thinking, oh, I missed out on an additional 12K. But because the casino shows you how much you could have won more if you were more aggressive, that is the appeal of Limbo.
That is the appeal. But look, good stuff. 50% improvement, Ledge. We appreciate you for that. I'm sure Atari does. Atari, if you are tuned in, as you are usually, probably in the Telegram at the moment, please send us your Twitter handle and your Telegram handle. Those are the 2 things we need to send you your winnings right after the show. So that's 250 plus 3 wins, which is 300. 550. 550. Not bad at all. Look, guys, that is that. In case people want to get involved in our Yeet board and participate next week, what do they need to do?
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to post our affiliate link, the Yeet link, in the comments of the show. I did it earlier. I'm going to post it again. And all you need is to make sure that you are signed up using that link of ours. Play any game that you want to play. Obviously, do that in a responsible way. Casino still has an edge against you. So do play responsibly with amounts that you're comfortable to lose. And then we will have a new set of rules probably, or maybe the same, or maybe an old one we're going to pick again. We'll definitely want to change that and have the next draft for next Friday.
Looking forward to it. All right. Good stuff. Shout out to Yeet for sponsoring the show with us. And shout out to you guys for joining us. It's always been a good week. I've enjoyed these conversations. Just a reminder, we do this every single day, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern time, live for 1 hour, live on X Video, YouTube, and you can catch us on Apple and Spotify podcast too. Thanks to my co-host, Legendary and Brad. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We will see you back on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.